So I quit my job at 30 to start a gaming company. And to be honest, I still don't know where it's heading. There's been a lot of ups and downs, but do I regret it? Well, today I want to share a little bit about my journey. I want to talk about a lot of things. So let's dive in. Long story short, I quit my job after getting some advice to do what I love or what I will love 10 years from now. Of course, I didn't just quit my job. Like I obviously talked to people like my spouse, my fiance, to make sure that we were in a good place for me to quit. And she reassured me and gave me the confidence that I needed to make this jump. And so a little background on why I actually chose gaming is because ever since I was young and ever since I gained consciousness around 4 or 5 years old, all I remember is that I was holding a yellow Game Boy Color in my hand playing Pokemon Yellow version. Pokemon has a very special place in my heart. I remember going to daycare and watching the series every morning back when Ash was still in Kanto with Misty and Brock and Professor Oak. I love Pokemon so much so that I've owned every single main series game, even Let's Go Pikachu. I actually plan on making another video here in a couple of weeks about my top 5 things that I think that Pokemon needs right now. But back to the story, I essentially grew up with the game in my hand. Whether it was the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance SP, a Nintendo DS, a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, GameCube, Nintendo 64, Xbox, like whatever it was, like I've had the system and I played the game. To further that point, I grew up around a family of gamers. Like me and my cousins used to always play Yu-Gi-Oh together. So we used to all buy packs, build decks, and duel each other. From morning to night, we would literally duel each other. And it was extremely fun, and we created so many memories based on, Yu-Gi-Oh alone, but also Pokemon and Nintendo and playing StarCraft and Super Smash Bros. And Monster Rancher and just whatever we could, we would all play together. And that is such a core moment in my life, and it established so many core memories and friendships and connections, and I will never forget those moments. And hopping back to Pokemon, it's actually funny because my cousin had a wedding a few years ago, and we were tasked with getting him a gift that resonated with us pretty much. Like, okay, so like a meaningful gift basically. And what I got him was a Pokeball. Can you see it? There you go. Wait, no, yeah. What I got him was a Pokeball and a Pikachu. I got him a Pikachu. The Pokeball and the Pikachu were my way of showing that no matter where we are in life, no matter how far away we are, we will always be best pals. And it's actually funny because it made him cry. He's probably gonna be upset that I said that, but it is what it is. And it's funny because it was sentimental. It's funny because it is nostalgic, and these are the games and the things and the memories that we've established at such a young age and we grew up with. And so it's essentially like a timeline of our life. It all came full circle with this Pokeball and this Pikachu. And if you want to know the meaning behind the Pokeball and the Pikachu, just watch Pokemon. Pikachu is Ash's best friend. Basically, it's his main Pokemon. It's the first Pokemon that he gets whenever he departs for his journey. And just circling back to that question on what would I love 10 years from now, gaming. Gaming is something that I will love forever just because of the memories and the connections and everything that it does for me personally in my life, and it probably does the same for some of you and yours. So next, there was a journey of figuring out exactly what to build in gaming, and what I noticed was that there were a ton of flaws in the existing gaming platforms. So starting with platforms for game developers, Kickstarter is the #1 fundraising platforms that game developers use to typically raise funding for games. There are over 22,000 video game projects on that platform, but did you know that less than 1% of those projects actually raise funding? Kickstarter has an all or nothing campaign model, which makes sense for a lot of projects, but it doesn't necessarily make sense for video games. This is because typically for game developers, they could use all the support that they could get because they are not trying to build a piece of hardware, for instance, like, hey, I don't need material to buy the parts. It's, I am the person that's making the game, but sometimes I may need extra help, whether it's buying assets or whatever else from a freelance artist. It could be game art, it could be music, it could be whatever. And that extra support, that extra money that they could earn from their campaign could go a long way. It's the difference between having professional music and not. It's the difference between having great art and not, and that means a lot. And then for gamers, you have other media style platforms like Fandom, Reddit, IGN, Games Radar, Gamer Rant, whatever you want to call it, PC Gamer. And what I was noticing is that the experience was easily ruined with 1,000 ads or just a toxic community that you just didn't want to deal with. Anytime you want to share your thoughts, you're getting lit up in the comment section, and that's not the way the gaming should be. Don't get me wrong, there is a place for competitive talk, but there's not a place for just bullying. And I think that that truly sucks for gamers, honestly, because that's not the way that it used to be. And then you have platforms like Twitch, which honestly is awesome and it changed the live streaming game, but slowly but surely, Twitch has become the platform for whoever could sell the most hot tub water. That is a joke, but not really. All of this to say is that I really just miss the old feeling of gaming when gaming was about gaming. Whenever I was excited about new releases and diving into content and forums and finding all the Easter eggs, the secrets, the hacks, the tips, the tricks, the walkthroughs, the playthroughs, whatever. And gaming was truly fun. Call me old school. I mean, I guess I am 30. It was the feeling that you can play whatever, whenever, wherever, because studios were making games that people loved. You can go to a gaming website without having your experience completely ruined just because their ad model wasn't trash, and you actually made genuine memories and connections with friends and people that wanted to play the same games as you. Not just bonding over one experience, but bonding over many experiences because there were so many good games and so many good ways to experience them. And I truly wanted to get back to that. And so what I'm building is a platform called Player 3. It is a platform to create, share, connect, and support gaming, only gaming without ads. Now, the main question is always, how are we different? And there are so many ways that I could answer that, but the main thing that I want to say is that we're different because I'm a gamer. We're different because I'm ignorant. We're different because even though that I'm ignorant, I still want to learn. I'm gonna get out there and ask the gamers, the content creators, the game developers, what they want in a platform that they can truly get value with and feel like they can share with the world. Because at the end of the day, I know what I want this platform to be, but I can't do that by myself. I can't just build what I think is right and expect everyone to love it, because that's just not how it should work. It's a joint effort of me and the team gathering valuable feedback from you and adding that value to the platform that actually makes sense. Of course, we're still new, so I have to start small, but I truly believe that we will get there in time because this is something that gaming honestly needs. This journey isn't all happy-go-lucky. Like, I have a ton of fears and anxiety and mixed emotions about what I'm doing because I do have a lot of self-doubt. I fear failure because I don't want to let people down. I fear not having an income because I was taught whenever I was growing up that I need to be the provider for my family. I've never been the smartest, the brightest, the fastest, and all of these things and more are what fill my head with doubts and mixed emotions that I actually cannot do this. But every time I feel this way, I have to remind myself, yes, I can. I have to remind myself that other people have done it with less. And I have to remind myself that I am doing this for others. And arguably more importantly, I have a great support system like my fiance. She has given me so much reassurance and confidence that things will work out that I feel that I truly just don't thank her enough, and I want to dedicate this video to her. She is my lover, my best friend, my lawyer, my financial advisor, my mentor, my everything. And without her, none of this is possible and none of this happens. So huge shout out to her because she is awesome. She does more than she has to, and she is the engine that keeps me going. Another important support system for me has been attending meetings with a group called Side Project Society. Houston doesn't have a huge startup community, but Side Project Society gives me the feeling of being around other entrepreneurs and startup founders and whatever else that are trying to start a business. They're on all different parts of their journeys. I'm further than some are further than me, but it's a good place to just talk to people about what you're going through and learn from their experiences. So if you're going through this journey, then I highly recommend that you find a local group of people that are doing what you're doing and are about in the same place as you, whether on meetups.com or whatever. It's always good to have more people to talk to. And again, every bit of support helps you continue going. Lastly, I recommend you find a mentor. I have a mentor. She doesn't know that she's my mentor, but she is. She's somebody that I often reach out to on LinkedIn, and she reaches out to me. And we meet up once a month, whether it's on Google Meets or Zoom or at a coffee shop, and we just talk. We talk about the platform, we talk about life, we talk about what my expectations are, we talk about things that I need to focus on. So while it's very important to have my gamer hat on, she also reminds me that it's still important to have my business hat on, because at the end of the day, this does need to be sustainable. So shout out to mentors and groups because they can be awesome and helpful. And shout out to fiancés because they are truly a rock and a heartbeat. They are the angel on your shoulder. One thing that I think is very important to know is that sometimes you just don't overcome fear. You face it and you keep moving forward, and eventually it'll be behind you. And you want to give a huge shout out to those people that are walking with you to help you overcome that. So how is Player 3 going now? Well, I can say that it's definitely not an overnight success, but I have seen a lot of progress based on when we started compared to where we are now. Right now, I feel like I am more busy than I've been in a long time with the platform. In the mornings, I wake up and I meet with the developer and the designer for about 2 hours. During the day, I'm trying to make marketing content or YouTube content. In the evenings, I try to get a couple of games in on PlayStation, Xbox, or my PC with some friends just to de-stress. And at night, I hop back on my laptop, talk more with the designer and the developer, and also plan more YouTube content for the next week or the next day or whatever. We're also growing internally and externally. So I've recently onboarded a teammate. His name is Mario, and he's been super helpful and great, and so I appreciate him. He's been helping me manage things like marketing and short form content, and also managing a new partner program, which is a new feature that we're implementing on our platform. So by the way, if you want to check out the partner program, I believe the link is in the description down below. There's been some bad feedback on the platform, but there's been a ton of good feedback. And so you have to learn to take feedback with a grain of salt, both good and bad. With the bad feedback, you have to take the value based on what they said, extract the value out, and then filter out all of the extra that they said that may not have been necessary to the actual comment. But you do want to take away whatever value that you can get and try to implement that on your platform, because who knows, one day they may come back. And then with the good feedback is also a great support system that can keep you going, because one good comment reminds you of who you're doing this for. Like the other day, I received a comment from a new user in our Discord channel saying that this was the exact type of platform that they had been looking for. They love the execution and they can't wait to see where the platform goes next. Take those comments, save them in a file, reread those comments whenever you are feeling down, because I promise you, they will remind you what you're doing this for and keep you going. Recently, I partnered with Andy Former on the Patch Notes Game Jam. I'll also include that link down in the description if you want to check it out. It started yesterday, so you may be a little bit behind, but it is what it is. We added a couple of small features to support the Game Jam on the platform, so you could also check those out. Partnering with Andy Former on the Game Jam brought Player 3 about 30 new users, and so we now have 90 plus users on the platform, which I am extremely excited about. I'm excited about having 90 users on the platform because I had stopped doing direct outreach for Player 3. Direct outreach was initially my main way of growing, but it took a lot of energy and it didn't really scale much. By scale, I mean that maybe 1 out of every 10 users that I talked to joined the platform. So I started focusing on YouTube content, which of course takes more energy and effort. It is a long game, but it can also help me grow exponentially. So yeah, right now I'm very happy with where the platform is compared to where we were whenever we started a couple months ago. 90 users is definitely a huge accomplishment, and I don't want that to go unnoticed by myself, right? Like that is a huge milestone for me. Slow incremental steps lead to substantial progress. We do have some big plans that are coming to the platform soon that I am excited to implement, but my goal is to not implement anything that doesn't truly bring value to the platform, but even more importantly, doesn't bring value to gaming. So back to the main question, do I regret it? It's been tough, it's been scary, and it's been far from perfect, but at the end of the day, I truly think that building Player 3 has been completely worth it. Seeing gamers and creators share their worlds, talk about what they're doing, what they love, sharing tips and tricks and secrets reminds me of why I built this platform in the first place. So yeah, some days I question everything, but there are other days that I feel completely unstoppable. I remember every small win, whether it's a new user, someone sharing a thoughtful comment, someone sharing whatever they love, a post or whatever. It all adds up. It is proof that the risk is worth it. Those are the things that keep me moving forward, even when fear and doubt show up. And so to those that are being helpful and supportive, truly, I want to say thank you. And so if you're a creator or a fan, I want you to know that Player 3 is free to use and you can sign up now. Whether you want to share a project that you're working on, share a game that you love like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, share your thoughts or playthroughs or add tips and tricks, like you can do that on Player 3, and that is truly the heart of Player 3. It is truly a community built around gaming without the other BS that's not related to gaming. And if you want to go a step further and share your thoughts on how we can improve the platform, then feel free to join the Discord. Again, that link is in the description. We have a small community there of content creators, game developers, and gamers that are giving advice, ideas, and opinions on how I can continue to turn Player 3 into something truly special. And if you've stayed until the end of this video, then I want you to know that on this channel, I do plan on talking about Player 3, but I also plan on talking about other gaming related content, like some of my favorite games, such as No Man's Sky. I got a comment last week from someone saying that they want me to talk about Light No Fire, and so I do plan on making a video about that soon. I love to talk about Pokemon. I love to talk about anything gaming, and so expect to see that on this channel as well. I think that's all I got for now, so until next time, thank you.